Hello, well, as the government tries to decide what exactly we should be doing with the lockdown, the big question, of course, are the numbers. And there is a certain amount of disparity in the different sets of numbers that are coming in. The government, the health ministry site will say that there are 6,400 cases. Other sites will say there are 6,700. That may not make as much difference as the differences that we are seeing in the rate of cases and the number and the rate at which those cases are, of course, growing every single day. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about testing. If you look at Worldometer's data, it seems clear that India has by now tested something like 177,000 cases, which is the 15th highest number of cases of testings done anywhere in the world. And of those, less than 4% are actually turning out to be positive. Now, a lot of that data is coming out from ICMR, which of course is the government agency which is collating this. So we spent a certain amount of time looking at what the ICMR has been saying day after day. And that's why I'm saying there is still some confusion that we need to look very closely at. So I'm just going to read out for you what ICMR has been saying the last 4 or 5 days. Well, according to ICMR, on the 5th of April, they tested about 9,000 cases, 295 positive. 6th of April, 11,400 tests, 311 positive. 7th of April, 12,584 tests, 285 positive. On the 8th of April, 13,000 tests, 320 positive. 9th of April, 16,000 tests, once again exactly 320 positive. So it's interesting, the last 5 days, according to the ICMR data, about 300 positive samples virtually every day, although the number of tests have been going up. Now, that's interesting, and that seems to be pointing to a low infection rate, but there will be other questions that people will ask. Like, for example, ICMR's own data is saying that the number of individuals are turning out positive. Each of these days has been going up by 581 or 481, 498, 591 on these days. So there's a gap between the number of samples that ICMR says are testing positive and the number of cases that we are actually seeing of people who are coming out COVID positive. So there are a certain amount of questions out there which no doubt somebody should answer. And I think it is important at the end of the day that we should try and converge on a certain set of numbers, which ideally the government should announce at a certain point of the day, maybe 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. We can all look at those numbers, analyze those numbers, and then fully understand what's happening across the nation and in every individual state. So, leaving you with some of that data to think about, here's a quick look at all the major headlines.
The World Health Organization had in a recent report said that India has entered the stage of community transmission for the deadly coronavirus. But on Friday, it clarified an error in the report and said that there are clusters of cases, not community transmission. ICMR as well as the Union Health Ministry has firmly denied reports stating that the country has entered stage 3 of COVID-19 infection. ICMR requested that the media not over-interpret the cases, adding it will not hide from the public if such a stage comes. Joint Secretary of Health Ministry Love Agarwal said in his daily briefing.
तो फिर मैं आप लोगों की दृष्टि में लाना चाहूँगा, देश में अभी कम्युनिटी ट्रांसमिशन नहीं है, उतनी भय की स्थिति नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी हमें अवेयर रहना है, हमें अलर्ट रहना है और रिक्वायर्ड डूज एंड डोंट्स को फॉलो करना है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with chief ministers of all states on Saturday via video conferencing. The virtual meet will take a call on whether the 21-day lockdown to check the spread of coronavirus ending next week should be extended. The video conference comes amid indications that the central government may extend the lockdown across the country beyond April 14th after several states have favoured it. Odisha has taken a lead and has extended the lockdown till April 30th.
The Punjab government has extended lockdown in the state till May 1st to contain the spread of COVID-19. According to Punjab authorities, 10 more people have tested positive for COVID-19 in Jawaharpur village, Dera Bassi. Total active cases in the state now stands at 101, while 8 deaths have been reported.
Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh said on Friday that his government will allow district-wise relief from lockdown only to farmers to allow them to harvest Rabi crop. He said that the state was expecting a bumper crop of 185 lakh tons of wheat and is making arrangements for harvest of the crop. Captain Amrinder Singh added that the ongoing lockdown to contain the spread of coronavirus should continue, while noting that the predictions by health experts about the spread of the pandemic are horrendous and frightening.
Governments from the 19 Eurozone nations agreed to provide more than €500 billion, that's about 550 billion US dollars, for companies, workers and health systems to cushion the economic impact of the coronavirus outbreak in the European Union. The chairman of the Eurogroup, Mario Centeno, announced the deal, reached after marathon discussions in Brussels. Borrowing together to pay for the costs of the crisis was a key demand from Italy, Spain, France and 6 other countries. At their Brussels talks, EU ministers, however, didn't accept their demand to share the cost of the crisis by issuing so-called corona bonds. The demand for shared debt was rejected by Germany, Austria and the Netherlands.
1 in 10 US workers have lost their jobs in the last 3 weeks, according to latest weekly unemployment claims figures. US government data showed just over 6.6 million applied for jobless benefits in the week ending on 4th April, as the coronavirus crisis shut down large parts of the world's biggest economy. This brings the total making unemployment claims to 16.8 million over the past 3 weeks, roughly 1 in 10 of the workforce, the largest and fastest string of job losses in the US on record since 1948.
According to a BBC report, images have emerged of coffins being buried in a mass grave in New York City as the death toll from the coronavirus outbreak continues to rise. Workers in hazmat outfits were seen using a ladder to descend into a huge pit where the coffins were stacked. The location is reportedly Hart Island and is being used for New Yorkers with no next of kin or those who could not afford a funeral. New York State now has more coronavirus cases than any single country, according to latest figures. The state's confirmed caseload of COVID-19 jumped by 10,000 on Thursday to 1,59,937, of whom 7,000 have died.
As the coronavirus continues to claim lives in US at an alarming rate, a new report suggests that the country's spy agencies were tracking the rise of COVID-19 as early as November. A CNN report quoted its sources as saying that US intelligence gathered details in November and in the weeks following offered multiple early warnings about the potential severity of the pandemic. The CNN report said work had been going on for weeks, with the CIA and other intelligence agencies combing through their resources to find out what China was beginning to grapple with. US Department of Defense and the Pentagon have meanwhile denied the existence of any such report by US intel agencies.
Spain recorded its lowest daily death toll from coronavirus in 17 days, with 605 people dying, according to official data on Friday. The overall number of fatalities stand at 15,843 in Spain, which has suffered one of the worst outbreaks of COVID-19 in the world. The total number of cases is about 1.5 lakh. Spanish lawmakers have approved Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's plan to extend a state of emergency for 2 weeks in the country.